Hi, welcome to Art Appreciation. I am Professor B and I'll be teaching your course. I am so glad that you guys are here and am excited for the semester to begin. I just wanted to take a few minutes and make sure that you knew how to start and how to be successful in the course. That's what this video is going to be about. But before I get to that, I figured I should introduce myself and you can feel a little bit more comfortable with who's teaching the course. Because I also think that one of the things that we often get with an online course is feeling like your professor is not accessible. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that that's not true. We will be doing a few other things in class to make sure that you feel that presence of your professor, which is me. And I'll be going through those as I work through the class introduction. But before that, let's just talk about a few things that have nothing to do with school. So I live a few hours north up in Central Florida now. I'm from South Florida, but I'm really glad I've gotten out of that extreme heat because it is a little bit cooler up here, still very hot. But I live in this amazing tiny cottage, tiny house, but it's styled like a little sea cottage. And it's on a lake, and I have this beautiful porch. I spend most of my time out there, except in the extreme heat of the day. But I drink my coffee out there in the morning, and I sit and sip wine and watch TV at night out there, and or read a book. And I couldn't be happier. So I'm living my dream, really. I've always dreamed of a tiny house, and now it's reality. So dreams do come true. Um, why do I love art appreciation, you might ask? And this is why. It's funny because I taught only studios at an art school before I came here, and I was really, really nervous about this class when I first started teaching. Because I had only dealt with just art students and I'd never taught a lecture course. So I was so nervous. And then what ended up happening was it became one of my favorite courses because I got to introduce art to students who had never experienced it before. And I got to help them learn to quote unquote appreciate it. I hope that I get to do that with you this semester, and I look forward to the challenge. And without further ado, I'm going to switch over to showing you some things in the course so that we can familiarize ourselves with how to move through the class, how to send an email if you have a question, and talk about a few other things. So let me go ahead and do that now. So the first thing I want to do is make sure you understand how to move through a class. Now, many of you have taken classes before, but I know that there are many of you who this might be your very first class on campus, and I want to welcome all of you. So the way that you move through the classes will be through this content. Content, as you can see down here, just means table of contents, just like you would find in a book. And good news, we don't have a book. So if you don't use the table of contents properly, you will get to an assignment and you will not know how to do it. So make sure you are using the system that I'm showing. So I'm going to switch to module 1 here so that you can kind of see how this works. Now, what you're going to notice and you'll be able to see is each module is open for 2 weeks, and then the next module opens. There are different deadlines within each module, so it doesn't mean that all of the work is due at the end of the 2 weeks. I find that it helps you stay on track. It helps you make sure that you're getting the work done and not just scrambling at the last second. So each module will have an introduction here. You should read through this. You should know what you're supposed to learn and what the most important thing that you learn. The thing is, at the end of the module, go back to this and make sure that you've learned these things, because if you haven't, these are the types of questions you should reach out to me for. Make sure that you do not misunderstand the big things. This will affect the way that you do on your writing assignment and the test in each module. So this is a really big deal, okay? Then you're gonna get to a reading assignment. And so what you're gonna do is the very first thing here, you simply click on, okay? And you're gonna go through the reading. You see these little arrows that go forward and backward. These are at the bottom as well. So what you wanna do is you're gonna read through this. And I'm just gonna go through it quickly. And then at the bottom, you'll simply go to the next thing. Now, if I go back to the module, it's gonna have a check mark that shows that it's been read. But notice, because I read it so quickly, it's not acknowledging it. So it knows, because it's smart, that we didn't really read it. But you'll go through one reading, you'll go through a second set of readings and videos, and then you'll have a scenario, which gives you a chance to kind of explore things. This particular scenario is ungraded, but in the next few, they are quizzes. So it's good to practice here before you actually have to do it. So discussions and quizzes will be due the first week of a module. And then your writing assignment and your test will be due the second week. This gives you a full week to absorb the information, to practice, because that's really what we're doing in the discussions. Ask questions and start the writing assignment, so you don't have to do it all at once if necessary. You can break that work up, and then give yourself a chance to study before you take the module test. Each module is designed the same way. So the thing that's really nice about that is it helps with time management. It is really well organized. You can have the expectation the same way. I don't introduce new assignments in terms of there's going to be a random thing that's added in a module. On the transverse to that, it is possible that there will not be, say, a quiz, or there may not be a writing assignment as you get near the end because you're preparing for the final paper, something like that. But each week, each module will have that expectation. Each week there will be assignments due. So you can kind of expect that. Even though it only shows you and you only have access to the module that's open, I sometimes have questions about working ahead. Absolutely, you can definitely work ahead, especially if you're going out of town and you know that you need to. But my requirement is that you have completed the module before you reach out to me and ask me to open it, because you need to know the information in the previous module to be able to work on the next module. So just keep that in mind. And then I have a lot of different resources available to you if you need help. There is the Course Cafe, which is a discussion for you guys to help each other. This is a collaborative environment where we are all intelligent, educated people. Your knowledge is important and valuable, and I respect it. So I encourage you guys to reach out to each other for help. You guys can use that to send a question. I encourage you guys, if you're going to email me, to post your question there as well. You might get a response faster. And it doesn't mean that I still won't follow up an email, but it does allow you to be able to start working and then have the question fully answered through my email. The student toolbox is available here, and that has all sorts of resources for you. The research menu is another module here that's helpful for any kind of research questions. And then each week we will have a live session Right under this video, you're going to notice that there is a link to take a poll on availability. This is going to help me decide when we're going to have that live session. And if you're unavailable for when the live session is scheduled, you can always email your questions ahead of time. And I will answer them like they do in talk shows to make sure, and then you can just watch the recording because I will record those live sessions. And then if you do poorly on a test, if you're just not sure, if you don't do well in a writing assignment, if you're really confused, the whole module doesn't make sense to you, then reach out to me and ask for a meeting. I schedule appointments with students all the time. You'll notice our office hours are by appointment only, even though we do those live sessions, because I encourage you guys to understand that I'm a resource to you and we can absolutely do those and it's not a big deal. There is time allotted in my schedule every week to meet with students as necessary. So you should never be afraid to reach out and ask for help. I want to show you guys how this works in Zoom. So I have two options in Zoom always in my fully online courses. One of them is a study hall. This allows you guys to meet with one of your peers if you guys want to get together and answer questions on an assignment. I don't allow collaborative work, meaning that you guys do the assignment together and turn in the same thing, but you guys can work on it together in terms of answering each other's questions and making sure you're on the right track. Absolutely. I have a lot of students that will utilize that. And then I have this one here that's set up for the going live. And so this is where we will join once a week to answer any questions. It'll be a 45-minute session where I will answer questions and go over that. I will also post a weekly video that will, after I've graded your assignments, that will cover any confusion I've noticed in writing assignments and tests that where students are getting the common mistakes. And then the last thing I like to cover when I am going through this is to make sure I show you guys how to send me an email, because there are students who just don't know. So when you come to your email, which you do by clicking here, so you should always email me through D2L. Do not email me to my Broward account unless D2L is unaccessible. Simply click compose. And all you guys are going to have to do is type my name in. So it's important that you know who your professors are. And so if you type my name in, you'll find me. Otherwise, you can click on the address book. But the thing that's confusing about the address book is you will find me here, but you have to click to have me added here before you click add recipients. And that's the mistake that students often make and why your email doesn't go through. So just keep that in mind. So help on assignment. So when you send me an email, the first thing you need to do is tell me which class you're in. I teach 8 different classes. So if I need to look something up, if I need to give you a deadline, if I need to check grades, I can't do that unless I know which course you're in. So I am in, and then just give me the course ID. So you just write in the course ID number, and then you can just write in question. If you don't give me that course ID, I have to respond asking you what course you're in, wait for that response, and then I can respond after that. But each one of those might take 24 to 48 hours. So it might be, you know, several days before you actually get an answer to whatever question you have, which could affect you getting things in before the deadline, if you don't tell me which class you're in up front. Okay. So just make sure that you provide that information for me. And then you just click send. And then the last thing, you have a lot of grades that will grade automatically, but for, say, your writing assignments for the discussions, please be patient with me. It can take up to 7 days to get those grades in. if it's been more than 7 days, if it's 8 days or more, then absolutely send me an email and ask me what the ETA is on getting that graded. Okay? So those are the things that I wanted to make sure I shared today. I'm so glad that you guys are here, and I look forward to a great semester with you.